to Wine Down with Books with your girl Kay. Today we are reviewing Single Black Female. I heard good reviews about the book, which is why I started reading it. But let's jump right into it. So first off, I'm just gonna say, the book wasn't what I expected. Like I expected like extreme thriller suspense. Like the ending didn't go to how I wanted it. And I was just like, it's a different book from what I expected. I really thought like I was gonna be sitting there with some suspense was gonna jump out at me, and I was like, oh, but that didn't happen. All in all, the book was good, but I would just say like honestly, I thought it was just okay. Honestly, that's just my opinion. I just thought it was okay. It wasn't really nothing too special. In my opinion, like I thought it was just going to be more on the thriller side. But anyways, let's just get into it. But before we get into the review, I just want to say the book is good. The book is good, but it just wasn't what I expected, you know. But anyways, let's jump into it. So the book follows 4 females. We have Ivy, Coco, Deja, and Nikki, right? So Nikki and Deja are sisters. Ivy and Coco are sister-in-laws. And I'm going to just break it up by character. Like each character had their own situation going on, right? Alright, so we're going to start with Ivy. So Ivy has been married to her sweetheart, Mikey, for a while, right? And unfortunately, Mikey was in a drug game. Mikey went to jail. He's been in jail for, 16 years, right? So since Mikey went to jail, Ivy's been holding down the home. They have 2 boys together. She's been raising them. Like, she's been doing her thing. She's been going up to see Mikey in prison, every month. Traveling that long, hard journey, going through the checkout points, all that. Like, she's been doing all that. And, you know, after all these years, she just at a point where she's tired, right? She still loves Mikey, but for her, she needs to find herself. She wants to be happy. You know, Mikey, unfortunately, he was his appeal for parole was denied twice, so he's not getting out of jail, right? And she just feel like, you know, she wants more out of her life. She wants to do things just for her. Like, she's a stylist. Like, she's making her own money. Mikey left her money and stuff like that, but she's since then she's capitalized on herself, her children, her business. So she's good. Like, she's good, right? And her main focus is that she doesn't want her 2 sons to grow up like in those conditions, as far as like the drug game and being pulled in that direction. Like, she wants them to go to finish school, high school, go to college. She wants more for her children. I think that's any parent, right? So her thing is that, you know, the book starts off with her. She's going to the prison to see Mikey. Mikey is like, you know, this is my wife. She's been holding it down ever since. She gonna ride with me, right? So prior to her going up there, she had told Mikey like, oh, we need to talk. When she get there, she tells Mikey like, long story short, you know, I just need a break. I can't do this. I'm gonna stop coming up here. The travel is taking a toll on me, on the boys. Like, we can't do it. So Mikey is like thinking she's joking at first, and then he realizes she's serious. He's like, oh, stop playing with me. Like, you gonna come see me. Like, you not stop. Why stop now? This is good. Like, oh, you trying to leave me and everything I did for you. Like, he gaslighting all that extra stuff. And I'm just like, yo, like, you're not really seeing where she trying to come from. So he's just not with it. He's just like, yo, what it is, but you gonna come see me. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. So Ivy, he also had disrespect her, was talking to her crazy at the prison. So she's like, oh nah, this is the last straw. So that was that. She walked out on him, right? And then Mikey calls his sister. He got an older sister and the younger sister, Coco, right? Cause I understand his point of view, as far as like when he was outside. He took care of the family. He provided for everybody. Like, he made sure everybody was straight. Like, he was a provider. But, you know, after 16 years, like, your family still love you, but you gotta understand the hardship on them. But I also understand his position, like, you know, y'all wasn't complaining when I was taking care of y'all, so you can't do this bid with me and keep coming to see me. But he has to understand times has changed. It's a lot. It's a lot. Going to see someone in jail is a lot. All right. So she's just like, you know, I can't do it no more. So Mikey feels like everybody's abandoning him and he doesn't know how to cope with that. But his thing is, you know, the visitation days is the only days that he's able to feel a real sense of reality, that he's able to escape from the conditions that he's going through behind bars, that he looks forward to visitation days. So now when Ivy said that she was cutting it off, you know, he doesn't know how to cope with that. He doesn't know how to to really understand, like, yo, you know, I'm not gonna be able to see my family anymore, right? But he thinks that she's doing it on purpose so she could have sex with some other guy, but he's not understanding, like, yo, like, you know, she has a life. I'm not getting out of jail no time soon. Set her free, right? Give her your blessing. But he's a selfish individual, and unfortunately, that's where it's at, right? The two sons, they got a younger son. He plays basketball. I forgot their names. Hold on, let me see if I don't think I wrote their name down, right? But if I do come across that, I'll let y'all know. So the older son is trying to follow in his father's footsteps. Like, he went to college, but he took a gap year. He's trying to figure it out, but he has the hustle in his blood, right? And then hanging out with his cousins in Brooklyn doesn't make it any better. And the younger son, he's a star basketball player. Like, he could go to the NBA, right? He could go to play D1 college. So Ivy decides that she's gonna move her family to Staten Island because Mikey's older sister, forgot her name, she is like a friend to her children. Like, she lets them sell drugs, she lets them run the streets, she lets them do whatever you could think of, they do. And Ivy doesn't want her children around that kind of environment because she wants to protect her kids. She doesn't want them to go to jail. She doesn't want them to end up dead. So she moves them out to Staten Island. Unfortunately, Staten Island is a racist island. It is what it is. And she moves them into a predominantly white neighborhood, which there's an exception to, like, I think there's an Asian family, right? So she moves into a beautiful house, and you can already feel the racism out there. The kids, the kids, they don't like it, you know? They don't like it. They understand the sacrifices that their mother have made for them, but they don't want to be there because of the environment. But Ivy's like, you know, we gonna make our mark. That's what we're gonna do, right? So that's Ivy. Now we get to Coco. So Coco, again, is Mikey's little sister, Ivy's sister-in-law. She's young. She's a lawyer. She's doing what she got to do. She finished school. Like, she's successful. Her problem is that she attracts nothing but F-boys. You know, she attracts men who do not see a future with her. She attracts men who's gonna dog her out, who's gonna use her. She's beautiful. The book describes her as being beautiful, but she can attract somebody that's on her standards, and she loves black men. Like, that's her thing. She loves a black king. But unfortunately, the black king that she attracts doesn't take her seriously. She wants a family. She wants to settle down. She wants to be loved. She wants to feel love. So she continuously gets into these situationships where it's just sex, and, you know, she has to hide her feelings if she falls for the dude, and it's just a never-ending cycle. And she's just like, you know, this is not going to work for me, right? So that's Coco. Deja now. So Deja is a high-powered broker. She's sisters with Nikki, right? So Deja is married to an NYPD sergeant. He's a dick. He's a dick. What's this man's name? I forgot his name. Hold on, let me get his name, because he's definitely a dick. Bobby. So she's married to Bobby. She's been married for a minute, right? So when Mikey got locked up, her man Rashad, at the time, they were young. They were like, I think 19, 20, also got locked up with Mikey, because Mikey and Rashad, they was like this, you know, they still like that, right? So, but the difference between her and Ivy is that when Rashad got locked up, and Rashad was innocent, Rashad was with Deja when the whole situation, when Mikey got knocked, because Mikey got got knocked for murder, right? And Rashad was nowhere in the vicinity. But because they associates and stuff like that, you know, Rashad went down. And Deja knew that Rashad was innocent, but when he went away and they said the sentence, you know, she couldn't hold it down. And on top of that, she was pregnant. So not only did she leave Rashad, you know, she stopped all communication with Rashad and his daughter. And but again, she was young, you know, she knew that she couldn't handle that kind of lifestyle, and and at the time Rashad knew that she wasn't cut out for that lifestyle. She just loved Rashad, so whatever Rashad was getting into, she kind of went with it because her love for Rashad, but she wasn't the type of female that was going to stay around and do that bit. And I can't blame her, but the way she went about it was wrong. Like she could have said, like, you know, this relationship is not going to work, but I'm gonna still allow you to have a relationship with your daughter. She couldn't take the traveling back and forth to the prison, and she didn't want her daughter to grow up like that, so she ran. She got away. She ended up meeting Bobby, trifling ass, right? So she meets Bobby, it was her secure net, right? So for her, she ended up changing everything about herself, from the way she talked, the way she walked, the way she think, the way she carried herself, but it wasn't for the good, right? So her and Bobby's been married for a minute. They've been married for a minute. I'm not gonna lie, a while. I want to say about 16 years, almost the same. But she met 15, 16 years. She met Bobby a year after Rashad or something like that. Bobby helped her get on her feet and stuff like that. As she escaped, she built herself up. She became successful. But all in all, within that success, she was never happy with Bobby. Bobby just didn't cut it. Bobby was just the straight and narrow. He had a job. He had benefits. You know, he could provide for the family. And that's what she wanted. She wanted something different. She wanted stability. And she got what she asked for. But she didn't get the happy part of it, right? And they have a daughter. Her daughter never met her real father, which is Rashad. And Bobby raised, what is her daughter's name? I forgot. I can't remember nobody's character's name, right? So her Bobby raised her daughter. We're gonna get the names. It's coming. Anyways, right? So Deja's on the type of timing where Bobby is just like, he's kind of asshole. Like, he lets it be known, like, you know, I took care of you when you needed it, and he walks around like he's the shit, you know. And because he's a sergeant, that makes it worse. Like, that high powered status that he has, he takes it over to the top. And he's also so ignorant. He's the type of he's a black person, let's just say what it is, that, you know, any other black male who comes from an urban area, right, who lives in an urban area, who lives in poverty, whose family can't make it, who's locked up, right? Don't even care if they're innocent or not. When they come out, he automatically thinks that they're guilty and that they're never going to amount to anything. And he is prejudiced against his own people. And I just did not like Bobby's character. I really did. Like, he automatically judged you. Like, if you don't fit his standard of, oh, you have a white collar job, or you're going to school, or you've never had a record or anything like that, then that's his type of person. But the minute he thinks that you was in jail or you were in jail, you automatically guilty, and you did something to end up in jail, not knowing that the system is designed against black and brown people. So he stands with his brothers in blue, and, you know, there's no in between. It's either the blue or black people, and he chose blue. I didn't like his character, I'm sorry. And then we have Nikki. So Nikki's unapologetically black. She has a social media presence. She's gonna do what she want to do, how she does it. She loves herself. She's built herself up. Let's say she's popular. She doesn't care. Like, she's gonna be herself, and she's gonna make it known. Like, she's loud. She's proud. She can be over the top sometimes, but she's gonna do her damn thing. She has multiple sponsors, and I mean, you know, men, when I come to men. And I liked her character, you know, despite her being loud and what's the word I'm looking for? we're just gonna say out there, I can't think of the word right now. She always remained true to herself. And her and Deja do not get along. Deja always coming at Nikki. Like, Deja judged Nikki for everything that she does. Like, oh, you need to tone it down from the way she dressed, the way she act. Like, because Deja decided to turn herself into some holier than thou person, you know, she's always coming at Nikki. And I was just like, I see right through Deja's character. Like, you coming at Nikki because you're not happy in your life. But instead of you telling Nikki that and really express, because they used to be cool, but when Deja decided to flip herself into this other person that's not her, you know, her and Nikki relationship fell off. Deja relationship fell off with her mother as well, and it was just a lot for Nikki. And Nikki's just like, you know, you want to change it, you're not gonna be happy, but I'm gonna be happy, right? So now let's get into the storyline. So now Deja ex Rashad ends up getting out of jail, right? So he gets out of jail, and you know, he's been out for, I want to say, a month or two, and he decides that he's gonna pop up on Deja, because he wanted to meet his daughter. Like, he's like, you know, you took my daughter away, that's all. The only reason why I make it, because I know I was gonna make it back to see my daughter, right? So now he decides that, you know, this is what it is. So him and Deja decide that, no, it's not him and Deja. When he popped up at the house, everybody was shocked. Like, Deja was shocked. She didn't know he was out of jail. She didn't know nothing. And she was just lost for words. And all the emotions that she felt, all the love that she had for him came back at all. Rashad hates Deja. He's like, you violated, you did me dirty, I held you down, and you left me. Not only did you leave me, you took my daughter. So he's over it. He wants nothing to do with Deja. He just wants to meet his daughter, be in her life, and go about that. And Deja decides that, you know, she just wants to tell him what happened, her side of the story, but he doesn't really want to hear it. And then there's that. Mikey, at the same time, also has people spying on Ivy. He's determined that he's gonna use those negative, aggressive tactics to get Ivy to come back to him. He has the kids spying on Ivy to see what she's going on, what she's doing. He also made Rashad pop up on Ivy and tell Ivy, like, yo, you need to go see Mikey and stop playing around. You held it down long enough. Like, oh, you know, why you stopping now? Why you need to change? Like, those tactics that he's using, he's doing too much. And Ivy's like, yo, I'm not with the shits. Like, you wildin'. Like, chill out, right? So now, Ivy's like, if you thought I wasn't coming up now, Mikey, I'm definitely not coming up. And Mikey's been calling her phone, cursing her, all that. So he's been tripping. And the boys, they didn't grow up with their father, right? But they grew up seeing him, going to visit him in prison. And they also was tired of it, but they didn't tell the father that they was tired of visiting him. But they also feel like, you know, their mother shouldn't change up what the routine that's been going on for years. And they didn't understand, like, the mother needed happiness, right? So she's dealing with all that stress. On top of that, we're going to go back to Rashad and Deja, right? So Rashad tells Deja, like, I want to talk to my daughter. Here comes Bobby ass. Oh, why you want to talk to my daughter? You just got out of prison. You're not a good influence. He's been coming at he was coming at Rashad crazy, talking crazy at the mom, trying to intimidate Rashad, trying to get him to act up so he could get Rashad wild up to send him back to prison. At one point he's been checking on Rashad through his parole officer, all that. He's been moving crazy, and at the same time, Deja's like, yo, you need to chill. Like, Deja is like, I don't even really with you no more. In her head though, right? She hasn't really told Bobby, like, she doesn't want to be in this marriage. She also was cheating on Bobby. Like, she just got fed up. Like, they haven't been having sex. Bobby wants sex, but she's just like, I'm not feeling you, you know? The relationship was stagnant. Sorry, guys. So now Bobby's on a mission to get Rashad, to watch Rashad, right? He also sees how Deja looks at Rashad and knows that Deja is still in love with Rashad. So now Bobby's the one who's intimidated by Rashad. You so high, mighty, and power and status, but you intimidated somebody that you think that's inferior to you. Come on, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's rhetorical. Anyways, so it's just all that drama going down. Now we're going to go on Coco's character. Coco now is like telling Nikki, because all the women hang out together. Coco's telling Nikki like, yo, I'm looking for a man. Nikki decides like, yo, I have somebody that I want you to meet. His name is Ziggy. I think you'll really like him. You can meet him at my party. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So now Nikki is having a birthday party. It's extravagant. They in New York, so you know she's doing it up big. At the party, Nikki introduced Coco to Ziggy. Ziggy's a white boy. He's a producer, right? So Coco's like he's white. And I'm like, you know, she likes black dudes. So Coco, so Nikki, what you doing? What you got going on? You know what I'm saying? So Coco and Ziggy hit it off. Like the vibe is cool. So she's just like, all right, you know, he's a handsome man, from what the book described. And Coco's like, all right, you know, I like the talks, I like all that, so we could meet up for dinner. Or whatever, right? So I'm gonna just go with their storyline. They meet up for dinner, you know, they hit it off. Like, she really likes talking to him, he really likes talking to her. Like, the vibe is there. But she's also on a journey where it's like, you know, how can you understand what it means to be with a black woman? You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna pause right there because I didn't get to the main plot of the book, right? So fast forward. Like I said, Ivy has 2 sons, Kingston and Noah, right? Kingston and Paul. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure. Do y'all really need to know everything out of this? I'm gonna get to the plot. Let me fast forward real quick. Long story. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go back to Deja and Rashad because I don't need to go into all that. At one point, Rashad meets his daughter. They start spending time together. You know, what is her name? I don't know why I can't think of her name. Bree. There we go. The daughter name is Bree. So Rashad meets Bree. They start hanging out. They develop a relationship. Deja ends up telling Rashad, like, the reason why I left and disappeared and reinvent myself is for the simple fact that I couldn't handle it. I was young, you know, I couldn't handle that type of situation, but I was wrong for what I did. I was wrong for leaving you. I regret it every day. I love you. Rashad still doesn't trust her, but he's like, you know, we could be cordial for co-parenting to work, right? And Rashad is the type of parent that he's just like, you know, I want Bree to trust me. I want to be in my daughter's life. I'm not going to miss nothing else. And he's not going to stop at anything else to make that happen, right? And Deja, the more her and Rashad talk, like, she's been calling him, like, she'll do a little stuff to call him just for nothing, whatever, right? And she's falling for him. She's falling for him. Rashad knows that, you know, she still loves him, but he can't trust her. And I don't blame him. So the more Deja and Rashad talk, the more Bobby notices, the more Bobby's getting tight or whatever, right? At the same time, Bree has a crush on Kingston and Ivy's younger son, right? So Bree decides that, you know, she's gonna make a little move on Kingston and stuff like that, like flirting, like, it's young love. Kingston at the time, you know, he wasn't really peeping Bree like that until one day they was in a car and Bree was like, you need to stop playing and you need to be with somebody who's gonna respect you and see you for who you are. And then, you know, the little sparks start flying here and there. At the same time, we're going back to Ivy. Ivy ends up meeting a dude that he's a mechanic, right? So Noah and Kingston are having a party while Ivy was out. While Ivy was out, the police came, party got shut down. The boys went to drop the friends home. The car broke down. They went to the mechanic. Then the mechanic held the car overnight, right? So Ivy had to go get the car out the next day. I forgot the mechanic's name. Let's see if I have it. The mechanic name is James, right? So when Ivy meets James, you know, James is a little older guy, you know, he's handsome and all that. So James decides that he's gonna ask Ivy for her number. Ivy gives it to him. The boys is like, oh, why you asking for my mother's number and stuff like that. James used to be an ex-ball player. He also did some time in jail. And it was just like, you know, they hit it off. So Ivy likes the flirt, the being courted. She likes the idea of flirting with somebody and getting back into the game. She deserves it. Like, for 16 years, you've only used the vibrator. Come on, okay? I know the vibrator batteries is tired. Like, for 16 years, you done went through a lot of vibrators. Had to. Your hands is tired, okay? So she deserved to get some. She deserved to get some. But anyway, so I'm gonna fast forward, right? So there was a situation. This is the point where stuff started getting real, right? So Kingston and Bree. Hold on, sorry. Let me make sure I got the timeline right, real quick. Yep, all right. So Kingston and Bree decided that they're gonna go on a date. They went to the movies and stuff like that, right? So Kingston borrowed Noah's car. The mechanic, James, was like, yo, you know, you're gonna have to change the part on the car as it's gonna break down. At the time, Ivy didn't change the part and they would been driving the car. So when Kingston decides that, you know, he has to drop Bree home and go back to meet curfew so he doesn't get in trouble. So on their way, they drive it through racist ass Staten Island. The car breaks down, right? So the car breaks down. King is upset because Bree is not home, he's not home, and his mother's gonna kill him. Because Ivy was a strict parent. She always had a leash on them, but because of she wanted to protect them, so he's upset about that. So when he gets out the car, he starts banging on the hood and stuff like that. Mind you, he stopped in a predominantly white town, right? So there was a neighbor. He comes out. He thinks that King is breaking into his car, right? Or a car. He comes out, he has a gun in his back, right? So he says some shit to King. King says something back. You know, he says something, he calls King a nigga. King doesn't see the gun though. So King gets mad, like, you just call me a nigga, like what? So Bree is in the car calling, I forgot who she called. She called somebody, right? And who did she call? Was it Bobby? Hold on, I'm about to say. Who did she call? I want to say it was Bobby or her mom. One of them. She called one of them, right? And she's on the phone like, yo, King is arguing with this white dude. The white dude's approaching King. Next thing you know, the white dude starts getting aggressive with King, like accusing him of breaking into cars. King is trying to tell him like, yo, this is my car, it broke down. Next thing you know, they get into a little tussle. So King is whooping the white man's ass. He's whooping his ass. Next thing you know, the white man pull out a gun, shoots King, right? King gets shot. Bree is yelling this and that third. And I'm just like, what the hell, right? Next thing you know, pause, I got it right here. Right? King is down. So now King is down. Bree ends up calling Bobby, right? So Bobby comes over, rushing this, then, and third. So now Bobby obviously calls Deja. Deja's like, what the hell? So they trying to call Ivy, right? But Ivy was also on a date with James. So they end up getting a hold of Ivy and tell Ivy that, you know, King got shot. So everybody pulls up to the scene. Ivy pulls up with James. Deja pulls up with Rashad because Deja and Rashad was just having sex. You know, at one point, you know, they just decided that they was gonna have sex and all that, this, that, and third, but they're not together. When Deja and Rashad pulls up to the scene, Bobby is there, of course, and Bobby is tight. So this is where I hate Bobby character even more. So Deja gets to the scene and telling Bobby like, oh, hey, what's going on? Because King is laid out in the street bleeding. He's shot, right? And then when the cops got to the scene before everybody, right, they automatically jumped on King. They beat King and let the white man go, right? Because the white man was in a coma, whatever, laying down. He badly beaten and shit like that. But they automatically assumed that King was in the wrong, so they jumped on King, started beating King, and I'm just like, come on, we already know how that was gonna play out, right? So now, when Deja gets to the scene, asking Bobby what's going on, Bobby's like, oh, I have no authority. This is not my jurisdiction. They let the cops do their job. So Deja's like, yo, you're not going to find out any information. Like, you really mad that you can't help us out, but all of a sudden, you used to flexing your power, but now you can't do nothing. So Bobby's really acting like a little bitch. Like, he wouldn't help the family out on nothing. And it was getting me tight. And he was really taking that out on the family because Deja pulled over Rashad. So Rashad already peeped game, right? So now everybody at the hospital, right? So Coco pulls up to the hospital the next day with Ziggy. So this is where, everybody looking at Ziggy like, Ziggy's a white boy, and you already know the situation. It was white cops that beat Kingston. Kingston's in the hospital. Kingston's also handcuffed to the bed rails. The police is blaming Kingston for the interaction and stuff like that, and saying that, he's the one who had the gun, and it was just a whole lot. They start lying on Kingston. So Coco approached Ziggy like, yo, I think you should leave. And then they further down, they have a talk about racism, and Coco's like, this is the part where our races don't align. I'm not gonna stop being black. This is who I am. This is my family. Can you handle that? How do you feel about racism? So Ziggy provided a reasonable answer. He's just like, yo, like the race conversation, it doesn't bother me. It's important, and in this instance, the police is wrong. So I respect Ziggy, and he's open to those tough conversations, right? And she was worried about the interracial relationship, but from the conversation that her and Ziggy had, she thought that could make it work. And she ends up her and Ziggy ends up staying together. So we'll end Coco and Ziggy's story, right? Long story short, now we back to the hospital. So let's see. Further down in the book, it was proven by video evidence that Kingston was not the one who started the fight. He was not the instigator. The white man approached him, was aggressive, grabbed his arm. They got into a tussle. He pulled out the gun. The gun was his own. He shot Kingston. Kingston ends up surviving, and he gets off the hook, right? Deja also ends up finding herself. She understands that she needs to go back to who she was in a way where she was happy, where she didn't have to hide herself from who she truly was, and she started getting some happiness there. Her and Rashad never gets back together. They still continue to have sex, but he's never gonna be in a space again where he fully trusts her, because she left him. She abandoned him when he needed her the most, and he just can't get with it. He develops a relationship with Bree. She's the divorced Bobby trifling ass. I just hated Bobby. Who else? Nikki's still Nikki. Nikki and Deja ends up having a talk, and Deja tells Nikki like, I don't hate you. I was jealous of you because you was able to be yourself. I love you, and I want a relationship to work. And Nikki just wanted that apology. She gets it. Their relationship gets better, and the story ends where it ends off in a situation. It went from, marital problems to relationship problems to Black Lives Matter problems. And I didn't see that coming, because I thought like the thriller was gonna be where Mikey ends up doing something to Ivy in jail. Like, I thought it was gonna be some trifling thriller suspense stuff. Obviously, I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I'm definitely for Black Lives Matter. I just didn't see that coming in the book. Like the plot twist, it wasn't really a plot twist. It was just like I didn't see that Black Lives Matter piece going into this book. Like, I really thought it was something else. It didn't do it. It didn't do it for me. I don't know. I just didn't see that piece playing a role in this book. Like, because it says like, be careful how you play your cards when you got a queen in your hand. You know what I'm saying? So when you read that, you think it's some shit about to go down. You don't think that all the stories tying to this one event where it leads to police brutality. I was just like, what? Literally, I was like, what? Like, what the hell? What? Like, the only part that I could say, be careful how you play your cards when you have got a queen in your hand, is when Mikey lost Ivy. Because Ivy got tired of, the whole going up to prison, being prison babe for 16 years. She wanted something better for her life. But other than that, there was nothing in the book that would tell me, like, what happens when you really lose your queen. Like, it don't. Bobby trifling us. We already seen Deja leaving Bobby ass. So that's why I said the story didn't live up to what it is. Because for me, no disrespect, it's like that piece is misleading. It's misleading for me. There was no thrill, like, at all. Like, I read about police brutality all the time. I read a lot of books, right? So on police brutality, I see it. We see it every day. We live our environment, police brutality. So I was just like, I couldn't see how it tied into it, like, into this book, because I was expecting something more. But I guess my expectations was a little too high. I don't know, but like I said, the book was okay. It was okay. I enjoyed the storylines of each character. I just didn't enjoy how it played out. If you read the book, drop it in the comments and let me know what you think about the book, how you felt about the book. Like I said, the book was good, but it didn't do it for me. And I love Tracy Brown as an author, so it didn't do it for me. But anyways, this is my review, guys. I know it's a little bit all over the place. I'm sorry, but expect the next review. It's gonna be 7 days in June, and your girl is out.